Have you noticed things just, I don't know, just not in the right spot?
No, I mean, we alphabetize them pretty regularly. I don't see what the problem
No,
is.
like you left something somewhere and when you turn around it's not there anymore.
Can't say as I have. What do you mean?
I don't know, I just had this feeling that like someone was fucking with me, and I know it wasn't you. I'm not accusing you. I'm not accusing you of doing anything.
I don't even do my job here, let alone extra stuff.
No, but it felt like someone was fucking with me, so I went back to check the security cameras, and I think I may have caught a paranormal entity. It looks semi-unexplainable.
Not a raccoon or something?
Well, let me just show you the footage. Alright guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Ghostbusters.
Who you gonna call?
1984's Ghostbusters. There's no way in hell you haven't seen this.
No, everyone has seen this.
Pretty much.
I'm pretty sure, right?
It's a virtual requirement, although kids today will never cease to piss me off in that they've not seen anything.
That's true.
So who's to say?
I was gonna say I am an old man, but I still feel like if someone said I've never seen Ghostbusters, I'd be like, that's weird. You're a weird person.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
No, this is a modern classic. It's not even that modern anymore.
This is just a classic. They call
This is one of
that.
the ones, I think it's because I'm so used to like growing up, but it's like I don't think of it as so as
Yeah, you're
old
like,
as
it's
it
a new
is.
good movie.
Yeah,
It's like,
no,
nope, now
yeah.
it's an old. Oh no, what happened?
84.
Yikes.
That's forever ago.
We're dead.
Yeah.
So like the hottest take that I have on this that is not a spoiler of any kind. I think people don't like the second one as much. I've
Yeah,
heard
I think
rumblings
that's-
about that. I love the second one, and I just watched them both so much as like a kid. I think I watched the second one more. They became like one big movie in my head, and the second one I think has a lot more happening than this one. Not that this one's bad, but
The
I think
second
the second
one, I
one's
think,
good.
where people may have fallen off is like this movie was made for adults, but kids embraced it. The second one, they were like, oh, let's lean heavier into the kids angle, and I think that might have been where some people
My
had their
excuse
disconnect.
is that I was a kid.
For sure.
But a lot of, like, it has the same characters, the same beats almost. It just does more, or like different stuff with all those things. So
Yeah.
like, those are the things that I remember. So this one, I'm like, oh, this is like the dry run. This is like, oh, the band has their first album on a major label and they're spreading their wings. It's the next album where they really embrace their new style. Like that's my like recollection of it. So whatever. But yes.
I like the origin
defend
story,
two.
so I think
Yeah,
I think
no, it's
one
good.
is like the one I like better than two.
It's
but I
definitely
don't
good.
dislike two in any way. Two is very
Imagine
fun.
like one giant 4-hour movie that you love.
Oh, sure.
That's how I take it.
Oh, and this often would be on TV in that way. It would be one
Like
and two. Yeah, back to
like
back.
on the whatever cable,
WBs,
the
UPNs,
basics.
whatever's, yeah.
I don't know what to call them, but for us it was Channel 9, Channel 11,
Yeah.
right? They'd just play like 3 movies in a row, and it could be all the Indiana Joneses.
Yeah.
Could be this. Yeah.
I like how you choose to ignore the fourth Indiana Jones. All of the
What?
Indiana Joneses.
Well, no, back in the 80s,
Yeah.
there were only 3.
Indeed. But yeah, this is
Time-sensitive
fantastic.
information.
You've definitely seen this, so follow us over to spoilers where we're going to ruin it.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, here we are to talk about the spoilers of the movie Ghostbusters.
The movie Ghostbusters.
Let's
indeed.
hear them spoiler-filled thoughts, Lee.
It's a good movie.
It's pretty fucking solid.
It's good.
I think it might have the most iconic theme song of all time.
Oh, God,
Like,
yes.
I was trying to think of like a more iconic one, and I don't know
Yeah.
that I can think of one that's more iconic, but I think the Beverly Hills Cop theme is equal footing where like it's like this gets played on the radio as its own song. So like,
Right.
and Ghostbusters you only really hear on the radio like around Halloween. It's not like a typical like play, but the very
yes.
fact that a song can transcend from being like, yeah, that's the intro, like maybe some Bond songs have done that.
Yeah, no, but like you could go to like a remote village in the Amazon where they've never met people before, and you could be like, "Bustin' makes me feel," and they'd be like, "Da-na, da-na, da." They'd be like on board, like everyone just knows that, which
Yeah.
is that's the kind of status that we're dealing with here.
Exactly.
We're opening with that. There's also like a soundtrack going on. Like the score is like classic and great. It's normal scoring, but they've chosen a bunch of songs that I've never heard before or in like any other context that I think like that was triggering the memories of all the things. Because there's montages like the Ghostbusters must drive across town, or like the Ghostbusters doing this, and there's a song where like the chorus is like save the day.
Saving the day. Saving the day. When you get on work right when you need saving.
And it's like, they're so of their 80s or like whatever time. It's like perfect. It's,
I can't say that I know any of those songs
No.
off the top of my head. I wonder if they were. You think they were made for the movie?
Oh, it's interesting. I have no idea.
The whole concept of that one, like
I wasn't
you
even
hear
hinting at
songs
that.
were made for
Yeah.
movies, was always like wild to me. I was like, oh wow,
And you're like,
someone has money.
I was not suggesting that. I just figured that they found a song where the chorus was Save the Day.
Sure.
But like that is hilarious to me. If a movie came out today where as they're going to save the day, a song played that was a full song and it finally gets to the chorus like 40 seconds in and they're going, save the day. People would be like, what is this garbage? What is this nonsense?
Yeah.
But here it's different because it has this delicious nostalgic flavor to it.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I think something that also screams nostalgia is just everyone smoking, like
Oh
all
my
the time.
God.
And like that's just something you don't have anymore. It
Yes.
doesn't even happen in the second movie. They've already like PG-ified
already
the
said, no
we don't
thanks.
want kids to see all this smoking type of things.
I noticed the smoking too.
EPA, what's he want?
I don't know.
A lot of it.
What I like about so like smoking, because like this came out, I was technically born, but like barely. So like whatever, I'm doxing myself in a way. But like you were not, right? We're in that you're a few years older, like a few years later in the being born game.
Yes.
But like to me, smoking has always characterized the character. Right, and I've watched old movies, obviously, but so much of my media, if someone starts smoking, that's supposed to mean something. Like, oh, he's like the bad boy in school,
Yeah,
or
not
he's
in
the
this.
whatever. No, everyone's just randomly smoking.
You don't look good. I don't? Well, you look better. You didn't used to look like this.
Everyone is smoking, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, you don't smoke? Here's a cigarette. I'll light it for you. Like everybody
Yes.
is smoking
They like
all the
hook-
time.
Yeah, there's that
Oh, you're
scene-
working on an engine? I'm smoking.
Yeah, yes. Dan Aykroyd just randomly starts smoking at what seems to be a really inappropriate time, which then he does like the hubba hubba and like the cigarette's like stuck to his lip, and I was like, oh, this is not a thing with smoking. This is for that bit. And then no, everyone is constantly smoking throughout the movie.
And
It's
that
great.
like I don't think was planned. I remember seeing a thing with him because some like radio DJ or something's like, and what did they glue that to? Because it hangs there, and like
No, I'm just a slobbery animal.
We've all had like the friend who smokes that like somehow can talk and it's just like on their
It's
lip
just
like what the
flying
hell?
around.
And
has
it was
like
just that, yeah.
Has 2 inches of ash. It's stuck to his
Yeah.
lip. It's flying around. Yes.
It was just dried to his lip and
Yeah.
it stayed there for a moment, like Wile E. Coyote hanging in midair for a little while before he falls.
Right.
And yes, that's
Like
something I think of.
he was probably trying to drop it out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But that's the first, I think, cigarette you see. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's for a joke. This is not going to be a thing. I'm sure people smoke. That's normal now. But no, it just kept coming up. Everyone
I
kept
could be
smoking.
mistaken, but I think it's right after you see the only no smoking sign in the movie too. I think.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like in the elevator. I think it says like no smoking,
So
and
it must
then
have-
he's
okay.
like right outside the elevator smoking.
That must have helped you. Yeah. So that's what. Okay. So if I don't recall that, but if that's true, that's probably why I thought, oh, this is just a bit. This is just a funny little thing. Because that's the thing too. People used to be smoking in movies specifically, and someone's like, hey, buddy, and he's like I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know more about this character. He's the type to just be smoking when there's no smoking. You see, blows into a baby's face and laughs. You're like, it's a bad guy. I get it, right? But no, everyone's just smoking while they're in like the lab, while they're doing random things.
Like yeah, all the
It's great.
time, and it's weird too, just because like people don't smoke a lot in movies anyway now, but
Yeah.
don't smoke inside for quite a while, and it's just everywhere. Now we're smoking. That's what we do. I'm like, okay, cool. And like yes, it is something that dates it is of the time, but it's also kind of fun because like you don't
Yeah.
see people be people anymore. It seems like
No,
everyone's
it's-
like,
it's-
oh, I gotta
yeah.
be the best version of a person because they're gonna cancel me.
Or like our hero shouldn't smoke, especially a science hero who wants to be smart and do whatever. That if he smokes, that's not whatever. But this is so long ago that
Yeah,
that wasn't a thing.
science didn't even tell you
So
that was
just
bad
do
yet.
whatever. Yeah.
And like our hero's barely a hero, like especially
Yeah.
if you like Bill Murray's character. Bill Murray more often than not plays a rapey character.
I have to go now, Jennifer. But I'd like to work with you some more. Perhaps you could come back this evening, say at...
8 o'clock?
I was just going to say, 8 o'clock?
Yes, I was
And
going to say
I always
he's
think
literally a
that's
villain
funny.
in this movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is amazing to me.
Because
Yes.
he's not of any of the science they're using throughout the movie. He is like a psychiatrist or something like
He has
that.
like 3 fake degrees,
Yeah.
and he's trying to like, and like I wasn't clear. This is so dumb because you're gonna be like, no, Lee, it's this or something. But like when they get fired, it seemed like they were firing Venkman, but everyone else like gets fired too. And I'm like, do they just work together?
Dr. Venkman, we believe that the purpose of science is to serve mankind. You, however, seem to regard science as some kind of dodge or hustle.
If so, how? Because they're making particle accelerators.
I think
and he's
they're
messing with
all on
students.
a paranormal grant.
Okay.
And like they're different aspects of the paranormal, but like as they are interested in ghosts, he's
Okay.
interested in like people being psychic.
He's
and stuff.
interested in getting laid.
Yeah, that is all his thing.
He's interested in banging vulnerable college co-eds.
And I
which,
kinda love
hey,
that.
listen, you know, everyone gets their own thing in life. But yes, his cover story is I am studying the effects of negative reinforcement on ESP.
What are you trying to prove here anyway?
I'm studying the effect of negative reinforcement on ESP ability.
So yes, it's
The
probably
bit
this whole-
itself
this whole
not
thing.
funny, but when the kid gets shocked and the gum like comes out of his mouth, I think that's funny.
Okay? All right.
When he gets when Egon comes back and like interrupts his thing and he like does like a jump smack, he's like, "Can I get a couple minutes?" Like,
Could you excuse me for a second? I'm right in the middle of something, Ray.
those little bits are funny.
So I distinctly remember the scene because in my head I was this is where like the nerd and like the hot chick and he's holding up cards. The audience can see them, they can't. He's like, guess the card. In my head, the nerd was psychic. He was like guessing her
Yeah, I
cards
thought that he
or
got them all
something.
right, but he
but-
got one right.
And like that seems like an accident, or maybe there's not enough symbols.
To
Because
even know, like, I don't know
Yeah.
if they went over it ahead of time. Like, these
Wavy
are the
lines.
symbols. There's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
infinite number of things that could be on those cards.
yeah, there could be like a photorealistic apple. Like, how do you
Yeah.
know? Yes, but like it's like a circle or like a star or something. And in my head, he's guessing like hers. He's like lagging behind or something, some weird thing. But it didn't seem consistent.
No,
now,
no.
also because I'm a pathetic nerd, I always identify with that character. And I was like, yes, the vanquishments of the world must be brought to justice.
I'll tell you what the effect is. It's pissing me off.
Well, then maybe my theory is correct.
You can keep the $5. I've had it.
I will, mister.
Why does he keep doing this to us? So like that scene always stuck out to me for those reasons. Yes.
I do love that he's like there are like 4 or 5 questions and he's like, only 70 to go or something.
Yeah.
Like, 70?
I don't like this.
You only have 75 more to go. Okay? What's this one?
No, and that's where I wonder, because this this is more of a Bill Murray vehicle than I recalled.
Yeah.
I thought it was like everybody doing their stuff, but I feel like a lot of those scenes are just Bill Murray, like
Yeah.
coming up with funny different ways to put things and do stuff.
I hate this. I like to torture him. That's right, boys. It's Dr. Venkman.
When he's interacting later with Sigourney Weaver too.
I think this had almost
but-
no scenes were as scripted.
Yeah,
Like
'cause-
everything is somebody
Yeah.
throwing out something they just made up.
Hey, where do these stairs go? They go up.
And it all works
Because
beautifully.
like in the moment, as a funny person, like from his history of like improv or whatever, like comedy stuff, that's what you cap on. Is that guy's like fed up? It's like listen, we're already like 1% of the way through, or whatever. It's like he's like what?
Yeah.
And it has that little kicker to it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Bill Murray's a star. He is listed top billing, like,
Yeah.
like starring Bill Murray, and there's like a long pause before they show anybody else. You're like, yes, he is.
Just to let it
He is
soak in.
as in charge
Yes.
as anybody else. Like I think it's all star definitely. I
Oh,
think
it's yeah.
the
in
cast they
retrospect.
originally wanted was a little higher tier. I want to say, like, I love Ernie Hudson. I think he's fantastic, but he does get like the short end of the stick here because it was originally writ for
Belushi.
no. God, it
No,
was,
they wanted Jim Belushi to be in this movie. I forget as what role or whatever.
not
but
as the Winston
Ernie-
character.
okay, yeah.
Winston's character was originally going to be Eddie Murphy, and when Eddie Murphy went off to do Beverly Hills Cop,
Yeah.
they cut the role in half because they were like, oh, well, you're not this famous guy anymore, so like
Yes.
reel it back in.
Okay, that makes
John
sense.
Candy was going to be Rick Moranis' character,
Oh, that's okay. You can bring him along.
Oh wow.
and I think that actually would have been great.
Yeah. Everyone does a really good job here, though.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
Chevy Chase was going to be in it.
As who?
I
know?
think he was supposed to be Venkman originally, but the first draft of the script wasn't a real comedy. It was kind of more of a scary movie, and he's like, I don't want to do that shit.
I can't do it.
Honestly, I'm a big Chevy Chase fan.
just makes
He's
one-
like a horrible dick, apparently.
Yes,
but
yes.
what he
So-
puts on screen is very funny.
Very cute.
I was going to say he would have been able to capture the Venkman because he is at heart a dick. We didn't know that maybe, or if we did, it wasn't a thing. But yes, he did. Him and that other guy. Oh, I forget his name.
Harold Ramis?
Steve something plays banjo.
Martin?
Steve Martin. They just made the same movie over and over again anyway, so it's fine. Whatever movie he was making is interchangeable to me. It's whatever. And yes, I like them both. Yes.
Are you saying Father of the Bride is the same movie as The Jerk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm not taking any questions at this time.
Fair enough.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
He did, Chevy Chase did make a cameo appearance in the music video, though.
Ghostbusters!
Oh.
As well as, like, a lot of people. There's, like, a string of stars, like, too many to count.
It seems like a pylon, yeah, at a certain point when like everyone is so famous. And this is probably the movie as a super young kid where I was introduced to a lot of people that I would see in a lot of other movies and be like, oh, it's that guy.
Huh. First time?
And then
Yeah.
like get used to them more and more and more, right? Like your average Rick Moranis or like Dan Aykroyd movie would not have been my, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, obviously, but I feel like
Bully.
I might have seen this first or something. So
Yeah, no, I
whatever.
think I would have seen this so early on in my career of living that I would not even have associated actors as actors and be like, oh, they're in multiple movies.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I know him. Yes. Good thing he got over being a devil dog.
Somebody turn on the lights! What happened?
Something that this movie's done for me, like, is the visuals of this. They're just so fantastic. Like the proton packs,
Yes.
like that beam they fire out is better than anything on TV right now. And I understand that it's an old weird technique,
Yeah.
but I would prefer that to almost anything today.
I still don't know, and I should just Google it, like how they did it. I love that effect.
Yeah.
We see that in various movies. Everyone always says, yeah, effects or whatever. I'm like, no, it's the good kind. I love it. Because like the way that things would, because like they say it's like painted on or
Yeah,
something.
I want to say it's painted onto the frame itself.
But it's like glowing in this weird way where I'm like, yes.
Well, that's the light
that's so
shining through it, I
awesome.
imagine.
Oh, it's like so good.
Same way they do
And-
lightning. I prefer
yeah,
that
okay.
look.
There's purple lightning later from like a Gozer.
Yeah.
And that's awesome too. All this stuff's awesome. And like you can get lightning at the drop of a hat. There's either free plugins or like all the software
That
packages
never looked the same,
have
though.
built-in lightning. But no, that's what I'm saying. Lightning has become trivial and like corny, but even at the time and now revisiting it, I love the way it feels and like the way it looks. Everything's so cool. There are weird little long-range ghosty dibby dabs that are not as good. They feel more like a music video level of like effect.
Sure.
They're still fine.
I still like them.
I'm ranking everything.
Okay.
Then we get to like, not going to practical yet. We get the like composite dogs, not the stop motion dogs.
Yeah, the green screen.
The dogs that are like added into like the street.
Those
and
I
stuff.
think are the
That's
weakest
the
of
worst
the digital effects.
Yes, and
But-
they are bad.
I think the actual ghosts look awesome, like the
Yeah.
way their bodies trail off
Yeah.
and like how Slimer looks. It's just
Yeah.
crazy puppets that are then like put into the scene. I think that's
Oh,
great.
absolutely.
The librarian looks awesome.
A full torso apparition, and it's real.
She does the like large Marge fucking face
Yes.
at one point.
Yes,
That's
yes,
awesome. The practical effects are
Yeah.
dope. Like there's a couple of shots of the dogs where they're like close up in the background, just like
close-up
black
ones.
and nothing, and those look
Yeah.
amazing.
And the teeth and the wet in the eyes and stuff. No, it's amazing. There's a random cab driver that I always loved as a kid.
Columbia Building, 57th Street. I'm in a hurry, so let's not dawdle.
Yeah.
He's like a weird
I always thought
zombie
that one
looking
didn't
guy.
that one didn't fit for me.
Yes.
It stood out as such a different thing.
Yes, it is.
Because it is so different. I was like, oh, did they not do the effect on this? Did they miss out? Oh, the budget doesn't have. Just put it in there. It's fine. A zombie cab driver, we got this.
Well, because he is such a zombie that it like read to me as like, oh, this is real.
But he goes up like
Something's
through the
real.
tailpipe
Yeah.
as like so. That part is, I think, the only misstep. Where I bet there's a story there.
That like they couldn't finish it. Or
I
something?
think so,
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Well, I
Interesting.
actually, for sure, the movie had such a strict deadline to get out for like the summer of 1984 that it went in without all the effects done. Now those have all since been finished for the the DVD, the VHS, etc. But they said you could see wires, effects weren't done, but the audience like didn't give a shit. They thought it was so fun, they loved
No,
it.
people used to watch plays.
People
know.
had stone cars that they
Yeah,
pushed with their feet.
Exactly. You had a dinosaur.
Ribs so big it would flip it over.
You had a dinosaur who would like play your records. Then he'd be like, "It's a living," and his beak would be all bent.
Times were different.
Times are different. We've moved on.
Yeah.
But hey, those people were people too.
It's for sure.
Yabba dabba doo. Speaking of practical stuff, though, I love things breaking out of statues.
Now here in Manhattan, the spell is broken, and we live again.
And we get bookends here because the dogs come out of like the gargoyles themselves, and then later we get Dana's little hand coming out and everything, and like, I'm in here again though, right? Which is this wonderful way to like do a transformation cycle where like they're inside of it still, and it's like,
and not
help me.
dead.
Well, yes,
which is nice.
Yes, yeah. Even like Suicide Squad had that with the Enchantress, where it's this weird, gross husk, and she's like, I'm in here. It's like, oh God, wait, what? And everything is like a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar. I love it so much.
It has a lot going for it in the special effects department. Like the biggest one, of course, is like a city street that is actually like moving like it's a Hollywood ride and things are happening, which I thought could have been such a funny ending, like, oh, they died. Like
They're
just
all
get
dead.
just crushed in there because they fall into what could be a never-ending chasm, but it's really just a few feet off ground from the angle we were looking at.
Yeah.
But who's to say? That
No,
could have been a
that's-
very anticlimactic ending right there.
And I've heard different stories. We're not gonna listen. If you want to know everything about Ghostbusters, go watch another video to tell you everything about Ghostbusters. There's some story behind that scene, or it's like filmed later in some other place or something.
Yeah,
weird
that
thing.
was an after shot.
Yeah, it's something or something. I'm just like, skip it. I don't care about that at all.
It's just a cool look
yes.
that you don't expect because there's no
Yeah.
reason to have that shot. So
I know.
the fact that it's there is so impressive. The couch monster like arms is cool.
I take it the opposite way, where there's no reason to have that there, and it's this weird vibe where like all the townsfolk are like, they're alive, save the
Yeah.
day, and
There they are! There they are!
I'm like, what? You hate these? Like, what are you
There's
doing?
a lot of those
Yeah.
like impromptu
Like-
townsfolk there, like, oh,
Yes.
they're waving Ghostbuster shirts.
Yes.
Are they like selling them real quick? So like they're also here, quick, sell some shit, or like they just happen to have them as flags
I don't know.
to show off their support for this business.
Yeah, but like, listen, it's really funny how that, because again, like that same Save the Day song, that's at the end of that, and like it goes quiet. There's just broken ground. All the people are like, oh no. Oh no! And then they start to crawl out, and
Yeah.
like everything's, and then it goes boom, 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 boom. It's like this 80s song starts, and that made me laugh. But again, I'm like, why is the whole street opening up to try to swallow them? Was that intentional? Was it random? What's happening?
I would have to assume it's intentional. So something that like an issue
it better.
movie-wise that always stuck out with me was, what would they have ever done in a blackout?
Don't shut it off. I'm warning you.
Because it seems like all it takes is cutting the power, and their whole facility shuts down. A beam shoots in the sky, releases all
Yeah.
the ghosts that ever were.
I have to believe that they also shut down their backup power source.
Seems like he only threw one switch, but maybe it's one switch before the switch. I don't
That's
know.
the master switch. That's like when the feds are there, you got to pull the switch.
Yeah,
That's the switch
They
he's
turned the
threatening to
water
pull.
off. I can't flush my ghosts.
Yeah. This opens up a whole raft of stuff in the movie about like the real villain is the EPA and stuff, and like that guy takes it personally, and that makes sense. But the idea that they should be allowed to run this like unregulated, highly dangerous business is actually insane. So that's what I'm saying. No, Venkman is the villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Because he had to make fun of that guy, and that guy then held a grudge, which is on him. But that's what led to the whole containment breach and all that.
Dickless is the best insult in the movie.
Yes.
It was shut off by Dickless here.
They caused an explosion.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
This was a time with a lot of drawn-out, protracted, almost confusing sort of like dick joke things for me. Because I remember in like Ace Ventura, like later, there's a whole bit where like he'd say, the guy steps on a cockroach, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you must have seen the sizes of the victim's dick and become insanely jealous.
First, I'd establish a motive. In this case, the killer saw the size of the bug's dick and became insanely jealous.
Obviously, homicide.
Yeah, there was a lot. Yes, exactly. There was a lot of weird dick-related humor in that vein or whatever. Yeah, it's true. He has no dick.
It's a decades of dick jokes, honestly.
Yes.
Because Ace Ventura is what, 92,
Those are like a
93?
different type of dick joke, though. So I remember as a kid being like, wow, people are constructing these elaborate dick jokes. It's not like a one-liner. It's like a paragraph of like a dick joke. It's weird.
It like runs because like then like the scene continues. Like he says it as like a one-off, and then you have that like, it's what I've heard.
All right. Well, that's what I heard.
Or something.
That's dubbed in, though, right?
It
It's
doesn't
weird.
matter. It's so
Okay.
funny.
Yes.
I have to imagine like a lot of things actually. And I didn't write anything down, but hit me
Yeah.
as like, oh, they added that. That's like something that popped in after the fact. And I think things like that have to be, especially with how much just oh, I'm making things up as I go. You might need little stone caps to like make a scene, work, or for continuity purpose, let's say this. One last effect I want to talk about is the eggs frying on the counter. I love the idea that it's made some covert grill and it's just cooking it on the tile. Like there's just a guy with a torch underneath the tile and he's cooking eggs on there. I think that's so good.
Right? Imagine like that's one of those funny things where like a modern day crew is like trying to solve this problem and like doing CG and like we have to 3D model the table too, but they won't
That's what
notice
they would do now,
all this stupid shit. And then like back in the day, they're just like, I don't know, Earl will just crawl under it with the butane. We'll just fry an egg. And you're like, what? You can do that? You can do that. It's great.
Do anything. Like the card catalog shooting up. I'm like, it's probably just the same thing that someone would use to like throw money at a club. It's just in there, like it's maybe a Dremel in there, just like and just spitting out cards.
And like the patent ran out for how to spit out cards like that, and that's why we have the Make It Rain guns now or something. Yeah, exactly. It's just throwing the cards.
Yeah, and it works so nicely.
And just like pay like a few college kids to put all the cards back every time you have to reset. It's fine.
Yeah, burn the whole place down.
No, you leave that.
Because the basement's definitely not the actual library. That's a set.
No, I know. I'm just saying you have to put the cards back.
Nah, again. Burn it down. We don't reset. One take wonder. That's the bonus. They don't have to memorize scripts. They're just saying whatever they want.
Hello. I'm Peter. Where are you from? Originally.
Do you think somebody was just sitting there and they're like we gotta have a scene with a ghost BJ? Like, well, how would we fit that in there? Maybe he's dreaming.
It was Dan Aykroyd, yeah. So part of me was like, this is the special edition. Did they go edit in the part where it's a dream? Was it originally in the movie? I forget this now.
I think I saw a thing with him on, was he on Joe Rogan?
You fucked a ghost?
I think I was being come on to there, but anyway,
this is a YouTube clip. Right now, Dan Aykroyd fucked a ghost.
He was on somebody talking about.
It's a corporeal blowjob.
I think that's a thing that he actually because he's one of the writers of this movie,
and he's a crazy person. Well, and he's a crazy person.
I woke up in the middle of the night and I said to my wife, "They're calling me. I want to go outside. They want me to come outside and see."
Yes.
A lot of vodka.
Play the clip. I don't know. I tried to find this clip. I remember him saying, there are over 13 types of aliens and 9 have visited Earth and 3 are on the celestial plane. Like, he goes on this crazy rants about the aliens where I'm like, that is oddly specific.
There were 23 different species of being visiting the planet in numerous types of vessels.
He is on a bunch of those like those sold at 3 a.m. like alien documentary things. It's like all random schmuck you never heard of in like the worst quality possible. And then you're like, is that Dan Aykroyd?
As the goal of the UFO movement since Roswell in 1947 has been to expose the government's knowledge of the UFO phenomena and the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence.
Like, Dan Aykroyd. He says yes to all of it.
He just has to have the skull in the shot, and he's like, word, I'll say anything.
This is an accurate glass rendering of a human skull.
I like Dan Aykroyd. I like that.
I like him, but he's having
I like having a certain amount of crazy doing things. And like when you don't give him enough power to ruin a movie or make it totally weird, I think he's like the best.
No, nobody ever made them like this. I mean, the architect was either a certified genius or an authentic wacko.
Like he can act the shit out of a scene. He can write some amazing things.
He's very talented.
Oh yeah,
most definitely. But you say you saw him on Joe Rogan or something, some place where he was defending the BJ scene.
No, not defending. I think he was talking about it happening to him in real life. I think that's a moment that is.
This is not fiction. This is
pulled out of his life, and he's like, oh, I gotta film that because it doesn't fit in the movie like at all. So like, it's probably him going, people need to know I did this.
No, it's not a montage of like compromising, boundary crossing ghost encounters. No. I think it's their like, hey, the business is booming like montage.
Yeah,
and it just shoehorns in this weird BJ.
Hi, this is Larry King. The phone-in topic today, ghosts and ghost busting.
And that ghost is not like the other ghosts. It's like a flying nun or something. It's really weird. The whole thing's weird.
Ghostbusters.
And it leads toward more of this was an adult-themed movie originally.
Yeah, sure. I forgot it though. So people started talking about like the ghost BJ in this movie, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's also as tastefully done as a ghost BJ could be. Like you don't see anything. You just hear him going woo.
He just goes cross-eyed and like. Yeah, which as a 3-year-old, I might be like, she's tickling him. Like, I have no idea what's happening.
No, as a kid, had no frame of reference for these things.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw Ace Ventura, I was just like, what is he doing there? He's like
Yeah.
hanging. Oh, he's like a monkey man.
Whoa, jeez. Oh, Pete!
What's happening? I don't know.
That's not how you do pull-ups.
This reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head. Remember that?
That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
So we've mentioned the proton pack, like visuals are fantastic.
Yeah.
I also love the sound. Like when he turns on like,
oh god, yes.
Like that's such a like if that was someone's ringtone, I'd be like Ghostbusters. Like
did it.
It's so
Yeah.
like a locked in noise.
Uh-huh.
So good.
I've never changed any of my phone noises, but now I might. To add that as my like text notification.
I remember
No, it's
spending
wonderful.
far too long trying to change the sound when you plug the phone in instead of going like boom. I want it to be like, I have the power.
But you could do now the Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
like yeah. No, and that's the iconic elevator scene where they like shuffle over to the side a little,
Yep.
like it's as if that would help or something.
They destroy that hotel.
It's pretty good.
Throw it!
In a way that I'm like, this is like the idea that they got paid at all for their
Yeah.
services, even to threaten to release the Slimer.
No. Again, though, this is like I'm sorry. This is the alternate cut where like they're the bad guys. Like,
Oh yeah, they ruined a wedding. A wedding was about to happen.
We'll be ready promptly at time as soon as your guests are with us.
The last throw took something out of him, but he's gonna move. I need some room to put the trap down. Give me some room.
You excuse me, please?
destroy the hotel, and then they're just extorting the guy.
I had no idea to be so much I won't pay it.
Well, that's all right. We can just put it right back in there. Thank you.
We certainly can, Dr. Venkman.
No! All right.
Like the EPA guy's wrong, but he's right. They go there, probably destroy every place, and then when they're like, "I'm not paying you destroyed the whole place," they go, "All right, we'll just put the ghost back," and they go, "No," and
yeah, because you don't want a destroyed place and a ghost.
Yeah, but how big of a line is that from bringing the ghost in the first place? That's that's a stone's throw away.
They're certainly not good guys, and I will assume that they got better. So like,
that's fine.
What if I were to use the real Ghostbusters cartoon as the canonized lessons of them getting better?
Yeah.
Their aim grows. They don't destroy things nearly as much. I think that this being their origin story is a little bit acceptable. They do almost murder a maid at one point, though. You're like, dude, like.
And she's just like, this is a bad day.
She's there like with a spurts bottle, like trying to put the fire out.
Successful test.
I guess so. I think we better split up.
Good idea.
Yeah, we can do more damage that way.
I'm glad you mentioned the cartoon because that's the universe to me. Is the first two movies that original cartoon. I used to watch that as a kid too. That was dope.
Yeah, I remember I as a kid could not understand because there was Ghostbusters, there was the real Ghostbusters, and later on there was Extreme Ghostbusters.
I never
so
saw
like Ghostbusters is not related to the Ghostbusters. There was a Ghostbusters live action TV show, a Ghostbusters cartoon, and those came first. And then to like spit in their face, they made theirs the real Ghostbusters as if they came first.
You're like, no, this is the real. Yeah, I never saw that live action show thing. Is there a
Black and
gorilla?
white.
Is there a gorilla on that show? Yeah, never even heard of it until recently. In my life.
It's all on YouTube, or at least it
doing
was.
media stuff.
In the last couple of years, I remember watching it.
Is it awesome?
No.
This is a bowling ball. What happened to the crystal ball?
No wonder Tracy's bowling ball was shattered when we were bowling last night.
But
Right.
I like that kind of crap. Like if you like
Anything with a
Three
gorilla.
Stooges, like Andy Griffith style, like old charming shit. Like it's something. The cartoon though, is super good.
I loved it.
All the Ghostbuster cartoons are pretty fun.
I only saw, I think, the OG one or whatever, but yes, that was a big deal. And Egon's blonde, but it felt like the same thing. It was fine.
Yeah, Ghostbusters toys, so good.
All right, I'm opening that trap now. Don't look directly into the trap.
I looked at the trap, Ray.
There's a lot of great performances here. I just want to run down some highlights, some stuff. Rick Moranis really shocked me. I remember his character vaguely, and when he says the line like, "Yeah, it's a 20-minute workout. I played it fast forward 10 minutes. It's really great." I was like, "Oh, I remember this character. This character is dope."
I was just exercising.
I taped 20-minute workout on my machine and played it back at high speed, so it only took 10 minutes. I got a great workout.
But like he just keeps doing it, and he's like relentless, and he's so good at it.
He is.
When Sigourney Weaver shuts the door in his face when he's trying to explain that, like, yeah, your TV was all loud, so like I turned mine up too. I went out on the ledge to try to turn yours down, and it's like an elaborate story. And it's like, oh my god, it must be so difficult for her to not laugh at him going on these crazy stories and rants.
I wonder, that seems
so
to be,
good.
it's the top floor of a really nice building, and he's like what seems to be a lame accountant.
Well, he has so many clients.
He does have a lot of clients, and like doesn't seem like he's completely useless. Like the only like babe at the party is like willing to dance with him.
Maybe if we start dancing, other people will join in. Oh, don't move! I just gotta get the door.
So I'm like, okay, like what am I to believe?
What is it with you, man?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe he's got a lot of money. I don't. Who's to say? But it struck me as strange. I'm like, oh, this is a very nice apartment. He seems like the most nerdy guy in the world.
Which he keeps getting locked out of.
Oh my god! Stop locking the door.
We're gonna play Twister. We're gonna do some break dancing. Hey, let me in! It's Louis. Somebody let me in!
Get back into his own apartment.
Like at least what 2-3 times.
It's so good.
And we only see him a handful of times, so that is a large majority of him getting locked out.
Once he is possessed, though, he really because he starts at 11, so I don't know where he goes when he gets possessed, and he's got like the colander on his head.
During the third reconciliation of the last of the McKettrick supplicants, they chose a new form for him, that of a giant slore. Many Shubs and Zools knew what it was to be roasted in the depths of the slore that day, I can tell you.
I started dying, and I would have remembered this if you had walked me through it, but it like, caught me off guard when it's like, do I want some coffee? Yes, have some. Yes, have some. His like weird, just like repeating stuff.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Like he's such like a weird shell of a person. He's just touching things, which you know is all just, hey man, go touch stuff, and he's like, yes, no, he doesn't know what to do. And like all the way later at the end, when the Walter Peck character comes in, he's like, what, one of them is wagging their finger, and like you can see like Rick Moranis over to the side, like imitating his.
Turning off these machines would be extremely hazardous.
I'll tell you what's hazardous. You're facing federal prosecution for at least a half a dozen environmental violations. Now either you shut off these beams or we shut them off for you.
Like the finger
he gets like
wagging.
all in his face and
shit.
shit.
Like he's like, oh, that's what you. Like he's learning. It's this crazy interpretation of what the Keymaster.
He's no longer him. He is.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's
He's
just
Get
wonderful.
ready for that gatekeeper.
It's really interesting.
There's a fantastic background actor. So like his party just went to
the
shit.
Horse. No.
Wait for the sign, then all prisoners will be released.
The party is in full swing, and a devil dog thing just bursts through the thing.
Okay, who brought the dog?
And everyone freaks out. And there's some dude in the background with a chair, like turned sideways, with like his nose, like it's like. Like just this little nothing character, but that like makes me laugh so hard.
I didn't notice
these little bullshit nothing things that just are like just peeking around in the background, and that one is gold.
That's awesome because they both get like taken by the dogs.
Yeah.
And like Dana's is like, his is very unceremonious compared to Dana's. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Was it Tavern on the Green or something? He's outside.
Oh, geez, yeah. Oh, but it starts in the apartment, and like the dog is just chilling. He's not like in this ethereal plane. He's in the coat room. He's in the bedroom. He gets a coat thrown around his face, which I remember as a kid being like, this is a funny thing that's happening. But then we get more bad effects, and he ends up at Tavern on the Green, which is more woke stuff, honestly. The feminists went back in time and changed this movie, or the whoever, right? Because like all the rich people are like, what is this? Oh, okay, it's fine. And they all go back to their thing.
In their defense, the dog's not actually there, so like,
okay,
because like when you turn, you never see the dog from their perspective. So they just see a nut job. Just
well, even the nut job, who's like, "Let me in, help" or something. There's no reaction to that.
You just have to ignore.
Do you think like no one else can see the dogs?
I believe they can all see it because they called it a cougar to the police. So like they definitely know something was there.
I was gonna say, wow. I thought it was not in that reverse shot because they didn't want to bother animating it.
That my thought is just that it would cost a lot of money,
right?
And it's through glass, so it would be extra difficult. So they just didn't do it.
Not for them. They would have just been like, just copy paste. They didn't have copy and paste, Stefan. How are they going to make these effects?
Well, they had paste. They would just glue it.
They would glue the frames back together. Oh my God. No, but it's great. His whole routine's wonderful. I'm really happy with that.
I am Vince Clortho, Keymaster of Gozer. Volga Sildro, our Lord of the Cebulia. Are you the gatekeeper?
You will perish in flames!
What?
That's when he's running from the horse. The guy's like, talk to me. He's like, you will perish in flames! And he just runs away.
He does like half a header into a pile of trash.
You will perish in flames!
Dude,
yeah, kicks
wonderful.
the cans.
It's great.
What an asshole.
No job is too big, no fee is too big.
No job is too big, no fee is too big.
We got one!
Yeah, he's very smarmy.
He's super smarmy. He's definitely like a rapist, because why did he show up at her house with a drug to knock her out?
I just whacked her up with about 300 cc's of Thorazine. She's going to take a little nap now.
But she says she's the gatekeeper. Does that make any sense to you?
He just always has that stuff, and why are you reading into it? He's a psychologist of some sort.
He was going on a date, and it was a Thorazine. Like he just knocks her out. Granted, she is possessed at the time,
and he
had that anyway.
And he like gave her enough to knock out or whatever, or it's like 500 milli. Like it sounds like a lot of it.
It does.
She's gonna sleep for about 3 weeks.
Why did he bring that much?
Why do you have that? I was just in the flowers. Ah, gotcha.
It was a syringe with her name on it. It was weird.
Right? It's crazy.
He was prepared.
I'll bet you're going to be thinking about me after I'm gone.
I bet I am.
No kiss.
I love when the gatekeeper dips the keymaster during their kiss, because she's so much bigger than him.
That's all right. I don't want to be horny for Sigourney Weaver, but this is a long time ago. She was looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And that scene where she's like the apartment's blown out and she's like sprawled out laying there like waiting for him, and he bursts open and her like head comes up to like see him. I'm like, this is amazing. I love everything. That was like burned into my mind along with so many other things from this movie.
She's funny too. Like not known to be a comedic actor, at least was not to me, but I think she's really funny. She knows what she's doing.
I feel like every time I see Sigourney Weaver, I'm like, oh, that's why she's famous. Like no matter what she does.
Yeah, everything she does.
Everything she does, I'm like, oh, there you go. That's why she was a famous actress.
She was really great in Galaxy Quest. That was a funny one she was in.
No, I mean, we shouldn't have to do this. It makes no logical sense. Why is it here?
Because it's on the television show.
Forget it. I'm not doing it. This episode was badly written.
Who plays Egon? What's his name?
Egon is Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis. R.I.P. I think he's more of like the writer here. He's playing like a toned down character, but I still forgot several things that happen. There's one point where he's just under Janine's desk and there's no reference to why, which I thought was hilarious.
Very handy, I can tell.
And I didn't realize, I had forgotten that like she was hot for him the whole time and kept making weird excuses to touch him and like gestures and all that stuff.
She gets him in the cartoon though.
Right?
I have a terrible feeling that something awful's gonna happen to you. I'm afraid you're gonna die.
There's one point where it's in the hotel or whatever it is, where they're like busting ghosts finally. There's a scene where they're all shooting the proton pack and everything, and it just hangs on like Egon's face for a while, and he's just like, the power! He has this weird look on his face where he's like, oh my god! And like everyone else has stopped, I think, and he's like still doing it, and he goes, oh! And he's like overwhelmed by it. I'm like, this is awesome. These little tiny things, the little looks on people's faces.
I love Janine's look the whole time.
She's great.
I think she's fantastic.
She's an icon.
She's just like what? Like her attitude on the phone is great. Like her job for the first half of the movie was just to sit there and do nothing.
Any customers?
No, Dr. Venkman.
It's a good job, isn't it? Type something, will you? We're paying for this stuff.
And then eventually it's like I need help. I'm doing something.
I'm finally doing something. Please.
I guess business does boom. They do hire Ernie Hudson pretty quick.
I forget how the second one works, but the boom is because of like this impending event. Right?
Yeah.
There's not just always ghosts, basically.
It's a job where eventually you put yourself out of business.
You would think.
It seems like there are not new ghosts all the time.
The way it works in this world, I guess, yes. But no, you're right. Ernie Hudson, his character, Winston, slots right in.
This is Winston Zedmore. He's here about the job.
Beautiful. You're hired. Ray Stantz, Pete Venkman.
I remember there being more. I thought there was more tension of him being like, because like he says the one line that I've been mangling my whole life, where he's like, I'll believe whatever you want. I need this job. But it's actually like, if there's a paycheck in it, I'll believe whatever you want.
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
It has like, it's like structured differently. But yeah, from that point on, he's just a part of the group, and they feel like this, and it's fine.
Yeah.
There's very little, like, there's like, tell him about the Twinkie. There's all these little like lines where he's just like in there, vibing with them.
How's the grid holding up?
It's not good. Tell him about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
Yeah, this is probably his first big thing. Like, he's in a lot of things, I think, before this, but like this is the, like, that's the one, and so many after this. So like this definitely launched the career, and I like him. But again, yeah, he has a few great lines, but overall his character doesn't really develop or do anything.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there. He's the only character that I think goes by his first name too. Because what's his last name? Like Zedfield or some shit.
Zedmore.
Zedmore.
It's a weird name.
Zedamore. I don't know.
I'm Winston Zeddemore, Your Honor.
He says it differently than someone else does, and I'm like, what is going on? Is he say his own name wrong?
I would believe he says it the most right, but who's to say?
It's not his real name.
Yeah.
His character's name.
Hey, Ray, do you believe in God?
Never met him.
Yeah, well, I do. And I love Jesus' style,
We can't not mention Carl Winslow is in this.
Oh my, dude, I know that he's in this.
But I gotta get my own lawyer.
Okay, Ghostbusters. The mayor wants to see you guys. The whole island's going crazy. Let's go.
I got a split. The mayor wants to rap with me about some things.
And because I saw his face, and I was like, wait a minute, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, no, you're just being, vaguely racist and like face blind as usual. That can't be him. He was only in there for like a third of a second.
Anytime there's a cop in the 80s, it's him.
That's
what
crazy.
What's his name? Reginald something?
His name's not what I thought it was, yeah.
It's something.
Yes. But so like this proves that Die Hard, Family Matters, and this are all in the same universe.
Yeah.
Freeze while I suck out your soul. You're never gonna get my soul. I'm gonna fight you to the death.
Imagine them recruiting Steve Urkel. It's Egon and Steve Urkel to like help solve the ghost problems.
Most recently, there's a show called Invincible, and they named the high school the kid goes to after that guy's character, and cartoon version of him plays the principal.
Principal Winslow, hi.
Mr. Grayson.
Carl Winslow Academy?
No, it's called like the Reginald something.
His real name?
Yeah,
okay, yeah. That's awesome. Honor him. That's dope.
I like him.
You nerdy motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
I also like the Zool voice.
Yes.
I think that's great. Zool's not here right now.
Okay.
Come on, Zoolie.
There's a point where they dub in over her, I think, which I think may have been to cover like a not good performance, where she's like trying to make the weird voice.
There is no being only soul.
What a lovely singing voice you must have.
Sound or something.
Yeah, it's definitely not her real voice.
Obviously, but she's like, I think they were just like, do it. Oh, we can't use that. Okay, well, let's just overdub it with her with like effects on it or something. Right?
I always thought, what's also weird? Ivan Drago's wife, like the actual end bad guy. Like she has like a weird look.
Are you talking about Grace Jones?
She's like a white Grace Jones.
Yeah, okay. Is that what you meant by Ivan Drago's wife?
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope as fuck. I had the same thought. I think it's like the leg warmers or something.
Yeah, there's something about her. She's like such a weird, and it fits.
Gozer the Gozerian. Good evening.
Because it's an unsettling, weird character.
No, when she jumps and does a weird like trapeze maneuver and then lands, that too was like burned into my head. And when I saw it again, I was like, "Ooh, wow! My brain is firing in these ways it hasn't done in 20
David Bowie doing?
20 years." Yeah, Bowie-esque, Tilda Swinton-esque, like a weird, androgynously terrifying character. Very interesting.
And I was like, does that person speak English? Because the voice is like kind of weird, and I was like, is she actually saying these things? I don't know.
Are you a god?
No.
Right, did they get some model and then do that to them and then also replace their voice? That's the kind of thing that they would do, so it makes sense, yes.
Yeah. Would you say you were a god if they asked?
You're supposed to, yes.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Would you have known to
No, no, I am a total Ray. I'd be like, what? I would have no idea what to do with anything. That would be horrible. Yes. He's so young in this. Dan Aykroyd looks like he's 12 years old. It's amazing.
Yeah. Wow, this place is great. When can we move in? You gotta try this pole.
He said he has such boyish looks in this that it totally plays with his character being like weird spectrum, like I don't know how to talk guy or whatever. It's really good. His first scene, I was like, oh, he's so young. How old am I? Oh my God, he's so.
I love the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I think that's fantastic. I learned that there were 3 suits used in this. They destroyed all 3 of them, and they cost $20,000 each.
$60,000 up in flames.
Yeah. This movie had an actual budget, though.
It
so,
did,
like, that's something. It was $30 million budget, which you're like, okay, that's a budget, especially in the 80s.
So 2 things. I forgot, but I remembered as soon as I saw it. There's this, after like the Marshmallow Man's been destroyed. There's like one shot of the marshmallow goo landing on the road, and even as a kid, I was like, that's just a guy with a bucket. That sucks. Yeah. What is this? You need like more of a flop and just kind of pours. It's like a weird motion. I'm like, this sucks. And part 2, I didn't know until this watching. Maybe I knew, but I forgot that part of Dana's groceries has Stay Puft marshmallows in it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, good. No. I noticed something. Yes. There's a bag of Stay Puft marshmallows on the counter with all the other groceries. So, like, in universe to make it more of like a real
No baguette is something that I noticed. I was like, oh, it's the first New Yorker to buy groceries and not have a baguette.
No baguette. And like 3 loose oranges. Yeah, what are you doing?
I do love Dickless, though. It's definitely like a bucket loader. Like because it's like, like marshmallow is like,
no, it's a lot.
But,
but it's definitely.
But like, if you look at the street, like, and how big the marshmallow, it should be fucking everywhere.
It should be a tsunami.
But it really just hits him like he's on Nickelodeon.
There's also the ending there. They're all covered in it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like, it's now the daytime again, which I assume is like, oh, the ghost night is gone, but they don't really show that, right? They don't show the clouds parting and it's day again.
No, it's alluded to.
They just cut to day and everyone's clean. Yeah. And I'm like, what happened? Why is this happening? And they're not clean enough to, to be like, well, they cleaned themselves up. Right?
Some of them have like a weird patch of light on them here
like
and
a
there,
little like,
and you can see like where they interacted with the characters that weren't like, oh, you touched this, someone's on his chest, and like type of jazz.
100%. So I feel like they were just like, we got to film a triumphant end, like ending sort of bit for the credits. Bring them back in.
Fluff.
Throw some marshmallow at them. Go film.
Not the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not the hair. What are you doing?
Yeah, fun movie.
It's Ghostbusters, baby.
Quit better jobs than this. Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Does busting make you feel good?
Fuck yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
We're ready to believe you.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion